Hey everybody, we are live. Warning, yep, we do swear, we drink, we get into trouble, and we still don't like Carol Baskins. So what are you gonna do? There's nothing we can do. So let's start this show, shall we? Hang on, this is not Friday. All right. No, we're just gonna go without an opening. How we doing? We don't have an opening for some reason.
No opening.
I think it's still on the mainframe.
Is it because the aliens?
There's a lot of aliens around. By the way, we got the UFOs are back. I don't think we had an opening. Yeah, we did have an opening. It's all on one channel. That's why. So just for shits and giggles. All right, you saw it.
It does exist.
It does exist. So, hey everybody, welcome to Golden Guys. Just like the Golden Girls, without all the sex appeal, but we still don't like Carol Baskins. Hey, all you crazy cats and kittens. So. We're DS short tonight. Paul might be joining us a little later. But we're ready to go. We have two topics tonight for sure. We got a spinner rack. And we've got somebody did something on the CGC boards called the May Madness, where you can vote on it. They're kind of doing like a bracket tier to get the best Golden Age artists. And it's pretty much impossible. But what we do have is 10 we could excuse me, COVID. We can do something. Thank you. So first off, how's everybody doing? Jeff, how we doing over there?
Doing great, man. It's actually a race right now between my hair on my head and the hair on my face. What's going to grow longer by the end of all this? So right now the hair is winning, but I feel like the beard will end strong.
There you go. How are we doing on there, Nights?
Pretty good. I just did bunch of videos, and as usual, it takes longer to upload them than to make them. But hopefully that'll happen. These are some of the books I was going over, like my own classic covers.
Nice.
From 1960 to 1994. And you can pick only 10 books for each 5 years. Wow. It was pretty tough.
Yeah, I'm actually sending up a big old stack to CGC.
Nice.
These are already been Avengers 2, 3, 5, 4's already slabbed, 8.
3? What's the 3? I need a 3.
3 is, if you know me, I don't grade anything on maybe a 5.5. Probably going to get higher, but 5.5, 6. 5 is about the same. Kang the Conqueror.
I'll talk to you about the Kang the Conqueror one. Sheesh.
Yeah, it's got a spine roll on it. It's got a subscription crease down the middle, but you can only see it when it says Kang. You can probably see it. It's just got a slight little.
They can't get him to be kick-ass in a movie. I don't know what they're doing.
I mean, there's so much you can do with Kang, especially if you go to like the early 70s Avengers after the 60s one. 10 years later, they really put Kang into the Avengers versus Defenders war, and that's a classic right there.
The cool thing is, because I remember, and I don't know if it ever happened, but there was always that talk, that suspicion that he was actually Doom or something, that him and Doom were somehow the same dude.
Yeah, if you go to Doom 2099, that puts it into it right there.
If they did that though in the movies somehow, like that could be pretty awesome.
I'll tell you my problem with. Go ahead. I'll tell you my problem with Kang, and it's just overall is it's time travel stuff, and I just feel like you start messing with time travel, you start to lose people because it just becomes this thing that I think it's spin out of control real quickly. You start messing with timeline, and I think you just had a whole timeline thing with the stones. You just did all this, and now you're going to still start messing with time, and then the multiverse you're going to throw in as well, and then you're going to throw in the time with that. It's just like I feel like that's the easiest way to lose people when you start throwing in time, and the quickest, cheapest way to really maybe fix a story and tell a story is by being, you just messed with time.
Yeah,
if you could stay away from it for a little bit, I would appreciate that and just get back to story. And keep it more simple, and then develop that. But time, man, I think you start messing with that, you can lose people and pretty quickly.
I think you're right with the multiverse of madness coming and everything else. The time you could still have Kang probably in the bigger movies like Avengers if we do the Defenders and the Avengers, you can do that whole Korvac saga, but take Korvac out and put Kang in. Just an idea. I mean, if you want, because Kang, Ramatut Kang, and everything else, and he's actually a Zemo in a few issues. He appears in a few other characters in some later ones. Always good to talk about that.
But hey, just to pimp the greatest. Now we're talking about time travel. I've been watching that show Dark on Netflix.
Oh yeah,
holy, that is.
I haven't started that one yet.
I haven't started yet.
Three or four episodes are nothing like the show. It's like you think it's like some like murder thing and kidnapping, and that's like so nothing. It's all about crazy sci-fi time travel stuff. You just have to get to like episode 5 or 6.
Yeah, I just started my Doctor Who list to get started to watch those.
Oh man.
Well, so I'm excited. But yeah, I've got some books I gotta send off to CEGC, so I'm doing that. No Golden Age this trip because I'm learning, and I told these guys here I've got to press, and I'm gonna learn to press and not learn. I've done it before, but I'm gonna start doing it again. But let me say
You're gonna be one of those people.
Oh, you know how I felt about it. I didn't like slabbing up until about maybe 5 years ago. I was against slabbing, and now I was against pressing up until about a year and a half ago. It's like, why? It's messing with the book. And now I'm like, for some reasons, I want to save some of them, but I always have to have a reader copy of each one of these two. This one this isn't a key or anything else like that, but this is a really good copy, and I collect every Thor versus another hero cover. And I've had this for the longest, probably one of the top 5 oldest books I've ever had. And that's how crazy it's been in great condition. Because this was one of my favorite Thor covers. Bill Everett, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Very rare. 1972. So let me introduce the chat while we're here, because I do love doing that on this show. Hello, Mr. Gretzky9966. Good having you here. Hey, we could not start without Chris Barrett. John's Comics with Kids, always great. Hey, shout out to John's Comics with Kids and to the rest of the guys in the Comic Corps who did a great job on the Mainframe Comic-Con. I was floored by some of the great stuff that was going on there. Very good. Stream Elements is here, keeping an eye on everybody. Jeff is here. Comic Books NYC. Hey, what's going on? How we doing? Fish Tropic, good having you here.
Hey.
Getting us here. Wait, before the show starts, I have to know, JD, will you do a spot on pro wrestler? Will you do a spot on a pro wrestler again? Maybe.
Friendly neighborhood fish aquarium dealer aquarium.
Ricky, how we doing? Good having you here. Alex, the Comic Order, great having him here. We're gonna get him on the show one day soon, I promise. Noel Martinez, good having you here. Hey, how are you? Jumbo.
Hello.
You. I just picked up a nice Jumbo comic today from one of my Canadian friends up north there in the Tim Horton loving people. Man Cave Comics. Hey, everyone. Hey, great having you here. Very excited about it. Knights is here. And Phil, how are you? So, one of the things that's going on right now, since there's no March Madness, the CGC boards created this. The guys on the Golden Age side created a little bracket, so to speak, of Golden Age artists. Now, I was wondering, it's hard to do because you have to think of them. So they have a list, and I'm not going to bring up the list because it's just ridiculously long. But if you had to put your Rushmore of Golden Age, we'll do 4 because we're not going to do all our top.
That again.
That's 4 of your favorite. There's no right or wrong answer in this one, especially not because I'm going to say some people that a lot of people don't necessarily agree. I mean, I'm going to throw my number 1 is probably Joe Doolin or Jack Kamen. You know, just a little different.
Well, how about if we're only doing 4, we each say 1, and then you can't name someone that the other guy picked.
Okay, so I'll start. I already said 1. I'll say Jack Kamen. Jeff, put you on the spot. One of your top 4.
I'm going to say it. I'm going to say Lou Fine.
Good. That's a good one.
Alex Schomburg. Come on.
Schomburg is good. My next one is Matt Baker.
Saw that one coming. You know, I'm going to tell you one that's a little off the cuff that I recently really started to fall in love with. and that is going to be Leo the Lion, Leo Amelia, and he did that early action stuff and some detectives, and it's just an interesting style that far back. It's if you look him up, I mean, you can just check out his art style at that time, and it was just I don't know, it's very innovative, very Flessel-like too. So, but really cool. He did Action 2. We all know Action 2, Action 3, Action 4, Action 5, Action 6. So, between 1 and 7 Superman covers, and throw a little something a little different in there.
Nice.
Bill Everett.
We just talked about Bill. Yeah, that would be on my list. I'm gonna go someone who probably doesn't get. I'm gonna say Will Eisner. I'm just gonna say it. It's Will Eisner. I mean, they named the award after him, for crying out loud. And I just missed out on a Jungle 2. These guys know the story. I just beat out. Just got beat out.
Lots of great names, and it's just hard. So I know you guys are in the chat are putting all kinds of people down. They're great. I'm going to go with Mac Raboy as well.
I was going to say, if you're going to pick a Fawcett guy, that's the only one I would throw up there. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I mean, you got CC Beck as well, right?
Right.
But I didn't like him nearly as much as I liked Raboy.
Right.
So,
the Wally Wood.
Walter Wood, huh?
Yes.
DS isn't here, so I'm going to say LB Cole for him.
All right, nice. Thank you guys for not saying Frank Frazetta. I'll say that.
No, good. See, here's where I'm going into Golden Age, because some of the guys in the chat were in Russ Heath and Buscema. While Buscema did do work in the Golden Age, I would not put him as one of the Golden Age artists, because his work in the Golden Age, my personal opinion, I have every one of his Golden Age works.
I like this Fawcett cover artist.
Who's that?
Swayze. Mark Swayze. Swayze.
Who's Frank Versetta? That's a good one, Ricky. Nice. You see,
my art teacher,
my favorite artist, period, by the way, and writes him. So,
my art teacher, life drawing class, anatomy teacher, he, what are you looking at? Frank Versetta.
I'll give you my 2 favorite MLJ artists real quick.
Okay. Oh yeah.
I like Irv Novick and I love Bob Fujitani. Those are probably my 2 favorite.
Now I'm going to say there's a few names that we're definitely overlooking here, but it's just so hard. I was going to throw a name out there to see if you guys agree with it. I mean, I happen to like H.G. Peter, Wonder Woman, probably one of the most polarizing. Either you like it or you hate it.
Jeff's favorite Wonder Woman artist, I'm pretty sure.
Irv Novick again, though.
I know he's the Van Gogh of this thing. Either you like him or you hate him. If you go to another superhero guy, we don't hear anybody talking about it. Oh well, I was going to say, do we put in Fieldstein? Do we put in
Johnny Craig,
Lee Elias? I mean, you got all these great names. Graham Ingalls is the man. Absolutely, Alex Comicorder, great job on that one. Count Von Strange, that's true. I would actually say that is a very hard number to say is Graham Ingalls, because Ingalls himself is probably responsible for most of the Jungle and Fiction House works of that stuff going forward. So you got the Zollner Witches and your Joe Doolin and your that. But
some really ask you, Zollner over
Solardo.
Yeah, well, you said you liked Ingalls.
Yeah, I would have Ingalls over Zollner Witch, but it depends on what they're drawing too, because I happen to like the women, the way people that draw the women. So hence the Baker, Kamen, Doolin, they draw the women very differently or better, so to speak, as opposed to an action scene or something where you get something like a Schoenberg. I'm not knocking anybody. It's just I was thinking more of, well, I've been trying to get Rich at Bedrock City. He's opening up his shop in Texas coming up, and I'm gonna buy a few books off of him to get his feet going again. He had a little rough time of it. Gil Kane, not Bob Kane. Gil Kane is a great one. Bill Ward, nice one.
Bill Ward. Wow,
that's a good one. Yeah.
$1 million.
Not that one. I never said that one would hit $1 million. I said the Thunder 7 won't hit $1 million.
All right. What about Joe Simon? How do you rank him? Do you put him up there in the top 20 even, or does he have to be Simon and Kirby together to even get some respect with it?
It's Abbott and Costello to me. It's Laverne and Shirley. It's
Schleville Cheval.
Emil Cavazo. That's the way it's got to be.
Difference. Perfect Strangers.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Balky Bartakamus.
Balky, yeah. So,
Cousin Larry.
Put Kirby up there. You got to put Simon there. Kirby's obviously there as well. I'm trying to think if you we mentioned a few of the Atlas guys. My favorite Atlas one that I'm going to put on my top 10 list for sure is Joe Manili. He is my favorite Atlas artist. Russ Heath, Bill Everett as well. But Joe Manili, I always think that we never would, he died a little young, kind of suddenly. So I kind of like Joe Manili. I was going through some works of his the other day. I have over here. Might grab it in a little bit because I have I had some Golden Age books out and I'm rearranging. And I found a suspense something where it's a guy in an electric chair. I really liked it.
Strange. Oh wait, okay, not the Ditko one, the Strange Suspense Stories one.
Yeah, Strange Suspense Stories. I think it's post
the Ditko cover. The Ditko cover, or no?
No, it's the Joe Manili cover. I'll get that.
Joe Manili cover. Okay.
Bake the Snake. How are you, Fred and Barney? There you go. Harry and the Hendersons. Nice. Good having Bake the Snake here. So on this list, I'm just going to bring up the list here so people can see how. Well, look at this. It's crazy today. There's a lot of people sending me messages. I didn't buy anything. I don't have
yeah, they just saw all the Silver Age keys you showed, so they're trying to jump.
Probably, yeah. That's true. Actually, some of these guys are asking about the pulps I did, but they call it the Golden Age Artist May Madness Tournament. And some of the names that they have on the list, by the way, it just started today. So if you go to the website, go to the Golden Age Comics, Golden Age Comic Books, not a sales funnel, everything else, but they made a list, and the list is quite he put the list out there on survey, and on the survey you have to click a survey to do it. And I'm just going to show you a little bit right now. It's Alex Raymond, Mac Rat Boy.
Raymond didn't do comics.
Oh, well, I don't. He did strips for sure.
Yeah.
He said he's open to strips.
See, if you got to do strips, I'm throwing Hal Foster in there then. Alex Kotze, Sheldon Moldoff, Jim Mooney, Fred Gardenier, which absolutely I like there. Russ Heath, Maurice Whitman. Forgot about Maurice Whitman. He's one of my favorites too. Craig Flessel, Bob Lubers, Al Hartley, Al Avison, Fred Ray. I don't really know that name.
I think Fred Ray did some Fox books.
Oh, okay.
Flame, I think. And I believe
Frank Paul, Al Gabriel, which I don't consider a Golden Age artist, but whatever. Rudy Pelaez, Joe Orlando, Al Feldstein, Bernard Bailey, oh boy, Harry Anderson, Erwin Hassan, Al Bryant, Sheldon Mayer, Al Williamson, Ruben Mayora, Kurt Swan. That's a reach. Jack Davis, Jimmy Thompson, George Papp, Joe Simon by himself, Joe Schuster by himself, Dan Zolnowicz, Milt Caniff, Al McWilliams, Charles Byro. I think he gets credit just because he worked forever. And Walt Hill. I mean, it's kind of like
he had some good ones, but
it's like Nick Hardy in the '70s, or it's like Ken Bald for the entire ACG run. You just had to throw him in there. Alex Schoenberg, Carl Burgess. I like Carl Burgess. He's a timely. He went from timely to Atlas pretty. He kind of did both for a while, right? Yeah. Mort Meshkin, John Flanagan, Bernie Krigston, Leonard Starr, Fletcher Hanks, Lily Renee, L.B. Cole. There we go. Angelo Torres. There's so many of them. H.G. Peter, Matt Baker, Bob Kane, Joe Kubert, Murphy Anderson, Joe Doolin.
What?
Jack Heyman, George Tuska. That's one we always. Sid Shores. We forgot Sid Shores. Alex Topp, very popular. I'm just going through another ones here. Johnny Craig, like we said. Lou Fine, absolutely. Carl Barks. Where do we put
I don't know, man. That's a tough one, right? I mean, No one can draw a duck like that, and he has that down. He has that down. That is what he is best known for. So do you respect that? But yes, but do you put that in your top 10 artists? Because
it'd be tough. You'd have to be a big time fan. Wally Wood, Walter Wood is there as well. John Severin, George Evans. George Evans. That's again, some of these guys went all the way up into the Bronze Age. So Roy Krenkel. And then they've got other write-in votes, which I heard has been quite hysterical. So I just want to let you guys know that there's a lot of people out there that have been talking about these Golden Age artists recently. And I could say this. Did you see a lot of the sales recently that started going on? We talked about it off show and on our Instagram, our little chat group. I don't see prices going down in any way, shape, or form. This is not gasoline. Prices have just been right about where they should be, I think, and at least in the Golden Age world. Anybody agree?
I mean, are we talking about like Golden Age keys, or are we just talking about Golden Age back issues? Because
well, I would say this: I did do a big discount on a lot of books recently just to get rid of them. Maybe about 20% less than I thought they could have gone for. But again, I did a lot of raws, so
I think keys are still expensive, but I'd be surprised if, like, all the dealers are saying people have been buying like crazy. I just would be surprised if they said that. I don't know.
No, I mean, even on the boards, things. I mean, I had a pretty good thread out there on the boards, and everything I did sell on eBay. Everything but one thing is sold on eBay. Actually, I think it's sold just now. And I had a pretty good run on the board. I mean, a lot of the pulps didn't sell, and I still have them over there, but I'm not going to rush and knock them down to $5 a piece or something. I wait for the pulp market to come up, and there's a pulp fest in the Midwest here it's towards the end of the year, so hopefully it'll still happen. And Pulp Fest is a lot of good time where most of it's trading, and it's trading pulps for pulps. It's really cool. There's not many of those guys that are still alive, but there's a few pulp guys out there. I think pulps are getting some stuff out there. So,
speaking of pulps, I think if you're going to include all the cartoonists and Karl Barks and whatnot, then you got to include the pulp artists in that list.
Okay, Norman Saunders would be probably the most famous one. Well, him or Lessel, yeah. There's a few names out there in the pulp world that could probably. Yeah, you got Virgil.
You can include them all you want. Doesn't mean they're going to get top 10. Right. So like, if you want to go and extend the list, more power to you. But if your name is recognized,
it's got a button for other. I mean, mine are on. I don't see Jack Kamen on there, which is just insulting to me.
Jack Kamen's on here. He's on the list.
He's on the list? Okay, all right.
Yeah.
All right, because I love Jack Kamen. Jack Kamen, Joe Doolin. I'm a Fiction House guy, obviously, but I'm not just Fiction House. I mean, I've got a lot of Fox. Actually, I just picked up two JoJos in the last couple of weeks, waiting to see how those turn out. Saunders for the Ziff Davis or nothing. Great call. I mean, Alex is 100% right there. Saunders, nobody put in the enormous efforts for all the Ziff Davis runs. And who was the big Street and Smith guy before Schoenberg? Who was doing Street and Smith before? What was his name?
I don't know. It's not coming to mind.
Robert Fawcett was the one I was thinking of earlier. But if you want to include those guys, I would throw Hal Foster if you're going to go anything else, because that stuff, or even the guys who did
Hogarth.
the stuff. Yeah, it's tough.
Well, I definitely need you to help convince me on Joe Maneely. I'm trying to love Maneely. I want to love Maneely, but every time I dig deeper and deeper, I'm just not at that point where everyone's just thinking he would have been the next predecessor to, Kirby or whoever, or just this huge next artist in the industry that just needed more time. I'm trying to get there, and I want to get there, but I just need some convincing, because the more I look into it, for me, style wise, it's just I'm not seeing it. So I would love for you to help me get there.
It's kind of hard because there's something that I've talked to about a bunch of other comic guys, and you guys can say what you want of this. Unfortunately, it's going to sound crude, but we canonized the dead artists that died early on every single one. I'm not saying Michael Turner isn't great. but we canonized him as being superb because he no longer can do it. Those that died young, Joe Maneely. I mean, not so much Wrightson because he's on another level. He's on the Frazetta level. I think he's better than Frazetta, but Wrightson, Frazetta, they're on planets that we're not even in the same universe with anybody else. But we do canonize some of those that have passed on, or those that have died tragically or died young.
I mean, he was 32.
Yeah, but he was, compared to guys that he worked with that were working up into the mid 70s, at least Bill Everett was working in the mid 70s. But do we canonize them for the sake of just that we didn't know? I don't think so on Joe Maneely as much, because as good as Russ Heath is, I always thought Joe Maneely did more of the hashing was right, the coloring aspects of a Maneely and the shadowing of Maneely. That's why I'm going to bring out a Maneely book that my favorite Maneely cover, my favorite work of his is of covers. A lot of his stuff in the interior, we don't get to see a lot of Joe Maneely because sometimes he didn't do the cover, and his interiors were great too. It's one of those, the Golden Age guys that did the interiors really wow you on what they could have done, or they're really terrible. It's one or the other. I mean, there really is a fine, not a fine. I mean, I think a lot of us that can say that some of the interiors are just dribble on a lot of the books, but some of the covers are outstanding. So Jack Cole is another one there. How do I do? Unless give me loves Archie. Yeah, I was going to think there's not an Archie presence there, really. I mean, Bob Montana has to be considered. Yeah, I mean, I just throw him in there with their Maneely, the one who fell off the train. Yes, Maneely tragically fell off a train after having a few cocktails with Bill Everett and Sid Shores. Was it Bill Everett?
I thought we talked about this and we said it was Everett.
Yeah, Bill. It was three guys. They were three guys at lunch, so it had to be Sid Shores, who was the assistant editor, Bill Everett, and Joe Maneely. I don't think Russ Heath would have been with him. No, the parallel wouldn't have been there. It was on a subway train, fell in between the cars, and he tragically passed. Michael Turner had cancer, but there's one of those things. Do we canonize them where their fan base grows after they pass more than they are when they're alive? I'm not saying it's a George Bailey situation where it's more dead than alive, but it's true in art.
And you have to take into consideration a lot of his praise came from one of the best sellers of all time, Mr. Stan Lee.
Yeah, and I think I've talked to a few of the Bronze Age artists, Howard Chaykin and Jim Starlin and Walter Simonson, and I asked them about. They've always brought up first Gil Kane. First, Jack came in, and then when you mentioned Joe Maneely, they're like, oh, he was phenomenal. Joe Maneely, we never knew. And that's one of the things I think we never knew how good he could have been because he was so restricted on what he did. And then he died right after the Code. And I have one of his last works, which I think is his best work. So I think one of the greatest things we've actually can do in collecting comics is something you really can't do in anything else other than baseball. You watch a guy get better throughout his career. You can do the same thing in comics from everybody, from John Buscema to Bernie Wrightson to whoever it is. You see artists get better. And I think the most common example today is Alex Ross. Starting out to Alex Ross today is ridiculous today. He is absolutely a savant. It's a savant, the way he can paint his number and how many he does and everything else, as opposed to, you have some artists that just came around, they do the same thing day in, day out, but this is not, we don't have that so much. We have a great experience of watching guys' whole careers. But I like you guys' lists right there.
Says here about his death. So he was with John Severin and George Ward, and he did not have his glasses with them and was killed when he accidentally fell between the cars of a moving commuter train on his way home to New Jersey.
I never heard the John Severin story. I always was told it was not Russ Heath. I always was told it was Bill Everett. But George Ward would make sense, considering when it was. So what year was that? That was 1955?
59.
59. Okay. Yeah, imagine what he would have done in the Tales of Suspense run with the monster horrors or the pre-hero Marvels.
Yeah, that would have been interesting to see. I mean, just a couple more years before the big change over.
We might not have had a Ditko doing Spider-Man. Just imagine a Manili Spider-Man, you know? Hey, I found an old school Spider-Man. This is cool. I found it. I'm just going to show it to you now. This is an artist drawing. I found it in a fanzine.
It's cool.
This is a poster. This is a 1971 or 72. This is a poster a guy tried to produce, and he signed it. I don't recognize the signature, but he made Spider-Man with 8 limbs. Pretty interesting.
Yeah, was that during the clone portion of it?
This is 1971 or 72. I'm not sure. Well, it says here 71. It says it was drawn.
Because what Spidey 102, right? The cover, he's got 6 arms on there, or something like that.
Quite interesting. Nice little rendering right here. It's an original art piece. It was found inside one of these magazines I picked up. So
that's cool.
Yeah, I buy a lot of those fanzines, and that's one of my favorite things to talk about with the Bronze Age artists when I do. Till they tell me to stop calling them, I'm not going to stop calling them.
What's the strangest thing you've ever found inside of a comic, Jeff?
Oh, strangest thing. God, there's all kinds of stuff you find in these boxes. I don't think I've ever found anything awful. Just maybe family photos, like black and whites of family, letters that people have written. So it's always interesting just to see handwritten letters that people wrote to others, or just even if I've gotten some art pieces that have come with the handwritten letters to the artists, asking them for like the art or commissions. And so that's always kind of fun, but nothing super strange yet, but just little personal items that tend to come along with old collections, either tucked in envelopes in between pages. All of a sudden it comes out, or at the bottom of the box is the comic still on top of it. So it's interesting. What about you? Have you got anything, or do you?
No, I mean, the strangest thing I ever found, I think I found a few kids' drawings, and probably the only notable thing double cover.
Double cover.
I've got a few double cover. I want to show you guys. I did when I unloaded the pulps. I found that Jimmy Carter, 1975. The application for the Iowa, I think I showed it to a few people. The Iowa caucus. It said Jimmy Carter, 1975. It was his letter to the Congress to get permission to go into the caucus in 75. I have it somewhere, but I just reorganized things. But this is the cover I was talking about. I'm going to take it out because I don't like glare.
The guy at the street said, at the comic shop said he's found like $100 in there before in comics.
Oh, wow. Nice.
This is Joe Manili. Let me put this on the screen here. Now, this is when I talk about lighting and shadowing. It goes all the way back to the back of the book. To the back of the cover. And it's just done. I happen to think this is just an amazing cover in its own right. It's The Man Who Can't Be Touched. And it's just a classic. The coloring and the lighting is just one of Joe Manili's things, as well as the shadowing. And it's what he's known for. The book itself inside is a lot of Bill Everett inside, but some good. It's just a good book. I won't slab because I like the interior too much. So, just a good book. There you go.
Yeah, that one's not going to sell me still.
You probably need, if you like the war books. He did a lot of war ones.
I know he did the Black Knight, and I don't like any of those. I'm trying.
He did some westerns. He did a lot of westerns.
Yeah, I just think it's the style. It's just the style. It's just not for me.
By the way, this self-adhesive bags, I'm not going to talk about them again. I bought 200 of them, and I'm. Ugh. They don't hurt a book, but they I should just stick to regular tape. So
yeah, have you ever laid it on top of another book accidentally, or
no? I've done stupid things enough. Well, I will show you right here. If you want to know, there's a chip out of this book, and I'm sending it in with the chip on it. I did this.
What'd you do? Oh,
God. I did that. and I did that.
How did you do both?
Well, I didn't realize the guy had two boards, two halfbacks in a 4 mm Mylar. If you don't know what those are the ones you can't tape down. That's too thick. It's stupid. And this guy had it, and I bought the book, and I had it in there. And first thing I do is I took it out. When I got home, I looked at it and said, "Okay, it looks good." And I said, "Let me put it back." I didn't realize there were two boards in there, so I went to take out one of the boards, and I caught it right on the top, and I slid it back in, and a little razor blade right down the side went the whole spine. Caught here, ripped it up. I said, no, don't. And then when I put the flap down, the flap was on the inside and went right there. So I did that. I did it about 10 years ago at least. Because I've had this book in my collection. Oh, boy. I think I bought these in, 2004 or 5. I was still living in the Bronx at this point. So.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I can't stand those 4 mm Mylars. I used to use them. Stopped using them. They make books look amazing, don't get me wrong, but so do 2 mm Mylites. Okay, yeah. Even 1 mm Mylites work great. So if I ever go back to that, most likely, if I ever for some crazy reason feel that I want to cut up my cuticles and mess up my fingers going through boxes of Mylars, I will have to put a Mylite on it first. People do, and then they slide it in so they don't completely razor cut their book accidentally.
I did. I've seen people do it too. I don't know if the most tragic things I've seen is obviously tape. I mean, I did a tape thing on a Spider-Man ASM 55, just at the bottom where it says Doc Ock. It just caught it when I pulled it out, and I always take it off and put it on the side. But these books are, I mean, that's what it is. It's tape. It happens. I mean, I'm not going to really. I've seen people do a lot worse to their books. I've seen people literally pull the staple out, saying. Doing the centerfold, when they check the centerfold, they go like this, and they let the whole thing drip down and just goes pop right there. I'm like, why are you bouncing it? just open it and leave it alone. I don't know who plays butterfly with their book. These books are from what do you think it was? A 1938 or 1939 book. It was a big time. I think it was an adventure, but it was like it was around Superman time, because I think there was the ad for Superman 1 was in it. So it was one of those early adventures. So it's got to be 39.
You don't check for the suppleness of paper by bouncing your book in your palm?
And I don't use gloves.
That's too funny, man.
Yeah.
So this Golden Age list they put is pretty awesome, man. There's so many names in there. You don't obviously aren't going to come to mind, but to have them all out front. And there's going to be a lot you don't really recognize. But when you go and research them, you'll be like, oh, I know that book. I know that cover. And it's just a fun little rabbit hole to go down when you get through all these characters, all these artists.
Mm-hmm. Here's a great one. Great comment by Chris Barrett. And Dave Stevens. That was a great one, too. Yeah, the nice one, Jeff. I was thinking Dave. I couldn't remember who Steve Adis, but not really. Very much a loss. Agree with that one. But like Turner and Darwin Cook, it's a great example of another artist that's canonized. And I believe they do. I'm not saying that they don't deserve to be canonized. It's just that they are elevated because there's nothing we don't like. Writers, it's very different. If we don't like what a writer does, everybody bashes the shit out of it. If you're an artist, everybody gets a pass, except for Liefeld, and that's deserved. He'd be the one that we would never canonize.
He had his followers. He had his movement.
He has his movement. McFarlane, my thing is that almost everybody I speak to who's around my age that's an artist or even younger, it's always McFarlane. And I find it hysterical because I liked McFarlane as well, but I liked him in his Spawn stuff a lot more than I like the Spider-Man stuff. I'm a big Mark Bagley fan, so
a lot of people are, man.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Mark Bagley. We might as well. We got a spinner rack.
I'm almost ready.
Almost ready for a spinner rack. Well, if you don't know what spinner rack is you should know about it. But if not, we go through one of the greatest things we take is from 1938 to 1955. We take the books that we have. What do we have? 2 weeks we got to do?
Yeah, just pretty much the rest of April. Yeah.
Well, we're doubling up on the spinner rack.
Well, this, by the way, is my oldest elephant book from 1934. I have no idea who the artist is.
It's kind of a short, because we did a lot of them on April, so it's not too many. Let me just, I'm grabbing one last one here.
I'm going to get some books ready here. See if I get lucky enough to have one of these books pop up that are on your spinner rack.
Oh.
I see. Go ahead.
Yeah. But,
so the wall behind you, so those are books, your favorite books by a certain 10-year time frame you were saying, or what was that?
I was going through, I did 5 years starting with 1960. I did 1960 to 64. And then I did 5-year increments after that, all the way to 94. So
I'm not going to yell, but I see Thor 150 behind you.
I see a Submariner comics up there. Oh, yeah. Okay. And then you got
which Submariners? You have the Golden Age ones or the? Oh, he's got Frank Miller.
Yeah, no, he's
got. Is that Devil Dinosaur Jack Kirby right there?
And some of these didn't make the list.
There's a lot of Kirby on your thing.
It was really difficult though. It was. I mean,
Franco.
Yeah, this is amazing. Gil Kane.
That's one of the names I wanted to.
It's just when we get to I think he got a bunch of covers on there. I think it was the early 70s.
Mm-hmm. The Bronze Age era. Gene Colan, Gil Kane, Chaikin, Starlin. I can't explain. The early Bronze Age is definitely my second favorite era. I think one thing that every Golden Age fan is, at least most of the guys that we talk to here, we all agree to the same thing. Says, yep, up until 1955, the art was great, and then we take that break, and then boom, we start with the 70s, and everything changed in the 70s, the Bronze Age. So, I mean, this is a Bronze Age book by Bill Everett. You couldn't even tell it was Bill Everett just by looking at it, but it's badass. I love
Bronze Age as well, man. That is my second favorite.
Yeah.
What's your first favorite?
Pre-75. I always stress the fact pre-75.
My first favorite is going to be
gold,
platinum. No, it's Golden Age, man.
Don't go down a rabbit hole.
Yeah, I'm trying not.
I almost fell down another rabbit hole with books. First edition Hemingway books.
Oh God.
Yeah, I'll tell you the rabbit hole I went down. The rabbit hole I went down. I mentioned to you guys not too long ago was the parts game, playing the parts game of covers.
Marry a book. Yeah.
That's just
I used to do a lot of that, and I thought it's I don't know. I think it was easier when there was less eyes on Golden Age.
You guys have any gut-wrenching auction losses this week you wish you didn't have?
Me, the Jungle 2. Obviously, Jungle 2. And I probably could have, if that was his high bid, I'll never know. If that was because at 1 second I had it. At 0, I had it. And then all of a sudden when it ended, it was $25 more than what I bid. And I'm like, and I didn't have, I know you guys said you have this software or something, but it was a Will Eisner elephant cover, but it's Jungle Comics #2. It's just a great book to have anyway. It was a 6.0 graded, and I made a good bid. I was the high bid from the last 15 minutes I put in my bid, and I was the high bid up until the last second. I put a high enough. I doubled where it was. And just went just a little bit higher.
I wish I got that.
Okay. I know more of them. There are 13 on the census. It's not as if it was an Adventure 34, which still 6 years ago lost on Heritage Auction. And I'm not kidding you. I lost on Heritage Auction to a guy that I still talk to and I still buy from, and he refuses to sell me that book. The other guy who refuses to sell me his book is Don Rosa. Refuses to sell me that book.
I still wish I got that Marvel 1 off the boards, and there was a cheap Showcase 4 that had very minimal restoration that was a really good deal too. I kind of blew it on those, but it's hard to keep track. You got to be on there all the time to really get the deals.
I do have a guy on the boards who does send me. Well, the guy who I bought a Jumbo 98 today from for $45, great condition. It's a guy. He's north of the border. He's in Canada. So a lot of people. I think he's great. He's a take botter. He's just really good at what he does. He usually takes a lot of my stuff, but he had it. And he let me know in advance. Hey, I'm going to put this thing out for you. You know what it is? Oh, so I think we're ready to go on there. But yeah, the Comic Link auction is tonight, which I think what's his name's doing.
That's a great one to start with.
That's what number is that? That's 26. Right?
Yeah.
That technically is that the last new adventure? No, 29 is the last new adventure, right?
That's got Action Comics 1 on the interior front cover.
It sure does.
And so does number 27.
Right there.
That's the one. 27 is when I wanted to see that. There it is.
Man, I got to hold this a few years ago. Terry had it at the Emerald City, and he let me look at it.
Super World?
Oh, man, I wanted it.
That was actually the last book that Ian Levine needed to complete his run up in 2005. Ron Murray and Harley combined to help get him that book. But that's a pretty awesome book, one of the more rare DC books. And like I said, 27 is really awesome as well.
I would definitely buy just that cover, front cover.
Jambo, I bet I lost the Jungle 2 on eBay, but the Jumbo I bought on the CGC boards. He has bought a lot of Jumbos from me. Nano, I bought a whole Fiction House collection of a ton of Jumbos, parsed out what I wanted, and I sold him books before like that. So him and I have done a lot of back and forth. It's I call it the dirty underworld, but there's an underworld of comics that we all know each other. We know each other likes, and a lot of people reach out to each other and, hey, I saw you looking at this at this con. You missed out. If you're interested, I got this. So,
would Flessel be in your guys' top 10? I mean, that's a close right there.
Yeah. I love his American Air Forces. I mean, I know I love his adventures, but he did that Air Forces books as well. So yeah, I do like Flessel. Yeah.
So here's the nightmare scenario, right? You finally get one of these, and it's slabbed, and you crack it out because you got it for this, and then when you open it up, there's like ink all over Superman.
Big old date stamp.
That suck.
When did they start putting? Oh, that's a. When did they start
38
date stamps? Somebody. I was asking when they started putting date stamps.
I think. Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. We'll have to keep an eye out on that.
Well, that's what we have to do. Oh, Jumbo had a Jumbo 6. Nice. We just saw a Jumbo 1 sell for what, 3,500?
I can't remember the closing number on it, but I wouldn't be shocked.
I was shocked it sold for less than 5,000 because you never see a Jumbo 1. For those of you that don't know, Jumbo 1 is the first Jack Kirby as well as the first of about 50 people. So
if they would trade those, they'd be a lot more, I think.
Yeah, but that's the thing. They're unslabbable.
Oh, here's that you might want to pick up.
Oh, there's a spec book there. This is the new one, the Batman, huh?
Might want to grab, get to the comic shop early on tomorrow and grab a few copies of this one.
Make sure to put your orders in, guys, with your shop.
Yeah. Oh, if you didn't pre-order it, well,
there might be a version variant out there too. So
yeah, this could be big.
You have to compete with all the other time travelers.
Don't forget Middleton beat covers. They're pretty hot right now. So
that's right.
Bonafide Comics, great having you here. How are you? Very rare, Jumbo. Jumbo 6 is very rare. Yes.
Here's a 40. This is right before the next issue is Green Lantern, right?
Yeah.
That's number 15. Yeah.
This is 15. Yeah. Oh, the 16 is definitely going on Comic Links.
Oh, I didn't see it up there. I thought it was up there.
I think he's counting on it to go for a lot.
Yeah.
I have a feeling you really like that book, Jeff.
I do like that book.
He's trying to buy a specific book, and that's why he's selling that one. That's his better copy than the one he has, but he needs it to go buy a mega book, and I mean it's the one we just saw. So he's going after a tech. Oh,
This 1940, a year later, he gets his own book.
Oh, Batman!
You
Look
know,
at that Boy Wonder swinging in.
there's a good thread in the Golden Age. It's talking about the 2020 Golden Age hierarchy tiers, and there's always a fun debate on where this book lies. Maybe we could talk about that next week.
oh yeah, I'll tell you right now, it's not the top 5.
No, definitely not top 5. But do you like that one better than you like Superman 1? I mean, that's the conversation. Batman 1 versus Superman 1. Like Superman 1 reprints. Batman 1 is your first appearance of Joker and Catwoman. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Batman 1 probably higher than Superman 1, but Superman 1 is definitely it's tough.
It sells for more. It's in demand.
Yeah, more.
You know.
Rivets.
Yeah.
Rivets.
I'm not too thrilled with this one, really.
Is that a Zolmerwich?
The weak one.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of all the rivets, that's for sure.
A lot of the rivets were done by Eisner. Oh, Shadow.
That's a pretty cool Shadow cover.
Yes, it is. That's volume 11.
I always like this cover for some reason. I don't know. It's not expensive, really. I've seen it a few times, but it just something about it's kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Sparkle Fingers up.
Yeah.
I might have shown this last time, but it's pretty awesome. The double syringe action going on.
Well, I thought one of you guys had that. Jeff, do you have it?
I don't. I have some good paps. I have one just right here that you mentioned, that number 18.
Oh,
I like 18 a lot. I can never figure out this camera.
Yeah, show that. I want to see that Pep 18. And the covers.
This is probably a.
What, dude?
It's Novik. Like I said, one of my favorite MLJ artists. I got a couple cool peps, man, like that early. I love those books. So do a lot of people, but.
Oh yeah, that's a great one.
That is nice. Batman 1 I like better than Superman 1. I'm a big fan of Action Comics over Superman Comics. Good point, Mr. Gressy. Action Comics 13 is still one of the top 5 covers, in my opinion.
Which one?
Yeah. Action Comics 13 is versus the Train. I always consider it the top 5 Superman covers. If there's one I'd want outside of Action 1, it'd be that one.
Here's a pretty decent. You could get this some on the cheap side as far as like timelies, for number ones, and it's still pretty cool.
USA Comics 4/7, number 7 are all pretty affordable, except for maybe 1 or 2 are a little bit higher. But once you hit USA Comics 7 on up, you're just
And 6 is I used to be after, and that's really tough to even find, and then can be up there if it's not completely jacked.
That one's a Hitler cover, though, right? Number 6.
No, that's 6 is what is that? I think it's just like some torture Captain America one.
Oh, it's just a torture one. No, Captain America doesn't come until. Oh, does he come in 6? Is he in 6? I thought he could start.
6, yeah, the Homburg first one on there. But they had I think number 9 is the other Hitler is the Hitler one, and that one's pretty expensive. Is it Hitler? I don't know. I'll have to.
I thought there was a pre-cap Hitler one there.
Oh, there is definitely. I mean, there's some great USA covers, but they don't command the price until 6 and 7 and 8. 8 is extremely rare. This is a pretty cool early, war cover for the Cap.
Talk about yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
I just saw one sell on the. Was it on the? I think it was on the boards or on eBay. I just saw one of these sell. I was keeping an eye.
I'm a big fan of Wiz Comics covers over Action Comic covers of like, let's just say Captain Marvel and Superman are the same character. Okay, let's just go with that. I liked his Train cover before, I think it was issue 13. I forget. Better than I liked the Action Comics Train.
Yeah. That's my favorite.
Superman Wiz Comics with Tank, I liked better than I liked Action Comics. I tend to like the Whiz comics that emulated similar action. They were just more dynamic, you know. It felt like energy.
So that Will 17 or 18, what I think I know which one you're talking about, is one of the best train covers ever.
Yeah, he's like twisting the track.
Yeah. The only thing I don't like the engine too much. It's a little weird looking that train, but that's all right. Let's see. I bought this when I was first collecting Golden Age, and it was like $75.
The Wiz, yeah.
This one I should have bought. I almost bought it several times, but I was like, it's not really the first Joker cover, but to me, it's like the first real Joker cover, you know, because the early tech ones just don't look as cool as this. I don't think.
See, I'm not a fan of this. I have never ever been a fan of this cover.
What is your favorite first early Joker cover?
Tech Jokers for me are always the better. Tech Batman, period, for me, like 5 times more appealing than any Batman ones. And this one I always steer away from, even though people love it. It's just for me, I'm just not a fan. I've never liked
that first Tech one where you could barely even tell it's him. He's got like the axe.
Yeah, he's got the big old hat.
Was it Tech 69 when you got the guns? I mean, that's just a freaking.
That's better. That's much later.
Yeah, that's late. The later Jokers got better.
I'm saying
like later. I'm talking about Tech 69. It can't be that much. Isn't going to be that much later than Bat 11. I mean,
is this the third? This is the first Batman cover with him on.
The second or third cover, I think.
Yeah.
No, you're right. I'm not thinking about the time frame.
It sells pretty high.
It does. There's a lot of demand for it.
I've always been on the lookout for a cheap one to flip, or one of those things.
Cheap one. Good
luck. I'm going to say this years ago.
Oh yeah.
Look out for this one.
I remember one of the.
It feels like there's quite a few of them out there, and it seems like it's plateaued some. So I mean,
I think villain covers have a limit. It's my own opinion.
This was the book I learned some like how not to piss off dealers, because I had Harley. I was like, oh yeah, I'm really interested, and hold that for me. And I just wasn't thinking that. And he was holding it for like hours, and then I didn't buy it, and he was like kind of pissed off. But I didn't really understand back then because I was kind of noobish at that point. But I made it up to them with some purchases. But it was a good learning experience. So don't do that, guys.
Chris Barrett,
some cash or something. I don't know.
Chris Barrett, Batman with guns. There's comics misexplained. Collects those, and obviously the Tommy gun. What's that? Batman 15, the 45.
Oh yeah, when he's shooting on that big rotary machine gun. Yeah, I think it's 14. I think or something like that. Is that right?
I think it's Batman 15, but there's a bunch of ones where he's got a gun in a holster, and he's holstered in Batman 2. He's holstered, swinging in there. There's Cap Schomburg.
Yeah, not Schomburg. Nice.
Oh,
is this Avison?
I believe it's Avison, whatever. This I used to not like this, and then it kept growing on me. I like the girl, the way he drew the girl in there a lot, and it's a pretty nice, Red Skull. This was pretty funny book with the tickling action going on.
Yeah.
People like this one. I'm just the whole tickling thing, man. I think it's all cool until you realize that he's tickling her feet.
Yeah,
you're like, oh, it's a girl. She's trapped in bondage with the wood blocks, and the hero, Daredevil's in the background, and there's this ghoulish creature, and then you look at the freaking feet and the feather, and you're like, oh god.
Yeah. When I saw this today, I was like, oh god, this one's gonna be crazy, because you kind of see this the wood block, the stockade or whatever they call those things, and I was expecting them to like saw her legs in half or something, and then it was I mean, it's still funny, but I was expecting worse.
Like a fire. How about a fire? Like a
this one. Now this is a cover I love.
Yeah,
this is iconic.
Yeah,
you're right. It's one of the best Superman covers in my opinion too. This one.
Everybody has, when they describe that book, they always say it's the one where he's stopping the nuclear explosion himself.
I'll show you another one that's really cool too to go on top of that one that's pretty popular. I'll be right back.
Okay. Good. Back to the chat here. Bonafide Comics is here. Great having you here. Chris Barrett says he's sticking with DK Returns for most iconic Batman packing.
Ooh.
I don't know. There's a what's the Tech 20.
Here's the other one that I really love. Next to this one, these are one of my two favorites.
I'm gonna put them on the big screen. Hang on.
Okay, this one.
Oh
right
yeah, the one with the what is it called? The smoldering melting. Nice, 9-0.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's great.
I love this cover.
100.
9-0. Jesus, settle down there.
Book's hot. I feel it.
Hot book.
Is that the same artist?
Let me see. The artist on this one is
Help if I knew.
It's a Jack Burnley cover.
I do not know who this is.
I don't know who did this one. We usually have Paul to look this stuff.
All right. Well, then we got a Jack Kirby one, a pretty classic adventure one.
One of my favorite Sandman.
This is, what is his sidekick's name here?
That's a good question.
I don't know.
Yeah, what is his name?
Yeah. No clue.
That's Simon and Kirby.
Yep. Those Kirby shades, black. Yep. Oh, one of my favorite caps.
The motorcycle.
It's so good. There's so much good on this. He's going to Berlin. He's fighting with the Russians because they turn on the nuts.
Yep.
So good. Tanks, motorcycle, guns,
airplanes.
I actually had a chance at one of these at a good price, and I still can't kick myself for. Well, I don't kick myself. I got a good piece of art instead. It was at a con, and Anthony Snyder's on one side and Teddy from Superworld's on the other with this book, and I'm like, I can always go back and get that Cap 27, but that's a one-of-a-kind piece of art. And I got home and I'm like, damn, I don't think I'm ever going to find that again.
Some of those Golden Age books are almost unique,
Yeah, they are. I agree with you. I mean, I've been hunting some books for 20 years.
Yeah. All right, here we go. Here's a 43. It's not one of my favorite ones. This is your favorite one, Jeff? Is that what you're saying?
Oh, no. I think it was similar, man. Yeah. Nope, this is it. You're right.
But I bet this sells for a lot.
Yeah, I mean, all of those have started to sell for quite a bit.
I don't even understand what the hell's going on here.
You would think it's like a Poison Ivy cover for a moment. You're like, even though it's not here yet, you're like.
Is there a reason they had to get big scissors? I mean.
Well, it's because they shrink.
He shrunk them down to. And what's the big deal with the plant?
Why don't cut it? What is that? I mean, it looks like I don't know.
I got it. They're cutting off the stem of this budding villain. See? He's budding out of the flower. They're trying to cut him. And that's what's happening. And he's trying to shoot some spray at them. Honey, I shrunk the heroes.
You should definitely, join Heritage and write their little blurbs.
Blurbs, yeah. Who writes the blurbs now? Goofy Comics.
For some reason, I felt like there was some story about this book, and I don't recall what it is, but I just threw it in there in case you guys knew anything about it at all. But
it's reminiscent of the Mickey comic book with the Phantom Blot in the background, right?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
But
I mean, this is the animals being anamorphic and everything else was the big start at this point.
It's like a slap at Waltz because it's mimicking that old cover. Plus, it's goofy, and it's not anything to do with Disney, right?
Right.
He probably didn't even care. Here's the same month. So this is an example. This month is where Schomburg would just stockpile. He would just create a bunch of stuff, and then he just waiting for Martin Goodman to say, all right, I want blah, blah, blah covers. And then he would just drop them and whenever, and they'd publish them whenever. This is like the a diptych that goes with the other one that we just saw of Cap, because this is like the only other one with Russians that I recall seeing at all. And they're bombing Russia there.
Yeah, people love the super plane cover here.
Yep. This is a often one that doesn't last long on any board.
Yeah.
Yeah, the 40s, really. If you look at like 40 to 46, there's like a good solid 4 books.
Oh, yeah.
I could buy a 31 right now if I wanted to, but a 44 I couldn't find.
I think 1943, Schomburg was at his peak, personally. But, I mean, he had kind of peaks and styles, but I feel like anything 43 was just his A game for sure.
If you're looking for a 44 low grade JD, I'll DM you later.
I gotta get the books back from CG. I gotta CGC a lot of things and build up the. I gotta get a little more in there. Plus, I might be upgrading my Avengers 1.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah. Monstradamus. Is that the regular villain for the Shadow? Monstradamus?
I don't know.
No, it's whatever evil lurks in the shadows.
I like the play on words there. Let's see. Then we go. Classics.
Shout out to Biggie Shack. I know he's not in the immortal Biggie Shack. That when he pulled out that cover, I swore to you, he knew how to pick out a classic one. One of the best Superman covers, hands down.
This is so good. He's actually angry, and they're toast.
It is going dust down.
That is such a good cover. I love it. You can feel it, and the fear in their eyes, intensity is. You know why he's going over there.
Yeah,
he's gonna be there in just a second, and you're in trouble.
It's on my list of my 5 Superman covers I want to buy my son every year for his birthday. I'm going to buy him a Superman Golden Age comic. He's only 2. He's got 2 so far. Actually, no. DS got him his first one for his birthday. His first birthday, he got him the Neil Adams 233.
Nice.
That's his first. And his second birthday, I've got another one.
Here's a 44. That last one was 43. Yeah. So now we're on 44. Another great Schomburg one. One of the not rare really, but it's one of the few covers where Cap is using a gun. There's only like maybe 6 or 8.
7. Hang on, I had them all written down.
I have a video on that.
Batman used the gun more than Captain America.
Batman does?
Yep. Batman's got, I think, 11 or 12, and Cap, I think I counted 7. If you stop in the Golden Age, because you can't go to the more recent. You can't go to Bucky being Cap, and I'm talking about Steve Rogers, Captain America.
Well,
Bucky used the gun the whole time he was Cap during that whole winter.
Thing that really made me like Cap. I always liked him from being a kid, but when I can't remember which writer it was, I think it might have been in the 90s or 80s, but he threw his shield and it chopped the Red Skull's arm off. And then it came out that basically this whole time he could have been just throwing his shield and like ripping people right in half with that thing, but he just never did that because of that like decency. So I thought that was pretty cool. So he doesn't need guns. He could just whip that thing right through people.
Awesome.
Is another great one.
You remember the theme song, right?
From the 66.
Captain America throws his mighty shield.
Yeah,
that's right.
You could cut your damn head off. Look at this one. He's got Bucky's got that bat. This is a pretty brutal one. 1944. Look at that. I mean, all these in 1 month. It's pretty crazy. I always loved it when Schomburg would draw the inside of Cap's shield. It just added this really cool 3-dimensionality to it.
Did you see the difference of this one to the All Select one? I mean, it's like a rivet shield on the interior. It's completely different.
Oh, yeah.
Check it out.
Yeah.
Look how riveted it is inside.
Yep. And then, I mean, it's different in many ways. It's interesting. Like 7 is a nice nice interior. And yeah, but I like this one really. He did looks really three-dimensional there. It's pretty nice. This was a 44 fight, red dress.
Fights were became a different book.
This is great, Schomburg. I love this one. I used to have this. I got to get it again. It's just like, what the hell is going?
What's the guy with the Saracen sword doing there?
And like, they are freaking gonna eat the Toro, which I never understood why they, would use fire against Toro.
Yeah, he could be just fine, Toro.
He's like, I don't get these guys. They're trying to use fire, but and the guy's got the arm is like a pirate arm.
He's got like this earwig pincher at the end of his arm.
Yeah, I don't know what he's got going on there.
Just so much craziness to this one.
That's Schoenberg, yeah.
I thought this was, I don't usually put Archie's in here, but I thought this was kind of funny. Him like pissing off the flag guy. I can't remember.
Shield.
Yeah.
Shield.
It's pretty funny.
I like the Archie one. There's a few Archies that are pretty good. The innuendo ones, obviously.
Yeah.
If you have an innuendo one, you got to throw it in there.
I really like this one.
One of my favorite subby covers there, just because what is that's holding her down? This crazy masked beast. It's great. I love it.
Yeah.
Also, Angel, early Angel.
He just does whatever he wants at this point, I think.
Schoenberg can do what he wants, yeah. Who was editor? What's his name? Gold. Stan wasn't the editor on these. Who would be editor? It would have been
I think he was. Well, Fargo.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Fargo doesn't sound right. but yeah, he was the interim editor while Stan was he's in the war. I don't think did he even leave the country? I can't remember, but
so Stan, yeah.
Oh, did he?
Stan was with Frank Capra and Dr. Seuss in the playwriting area. For the Stars and Stripes.
I thought this was kind of cool.
Blackstone, yeah.
Don't know who the artist is.
Those are kind of almost like a shop ones. I never really find out who does them. I mean, early ones have someone's name on them, but I don't even recognize it. And
every now and then there's those books that don't look Golden Age to me. Like there's something about them that this was kind of one of them. Then, oh God. So I had to throw this in. Like, what the hell? I mean,
that's DC to a T. World's finest. Stop kids stay. Look at this. They stop people from swimming during a quarantine.
I mean, this is like a caption maker's paradise. You could just do anything. I don't know. Yeah, these guys,
Of course, when you're bored, post
the best at helping out.
Black Terror, fighting Yank, build you a little dreamscape.
The war isn't even over at this point, but I guess they went home early.
Was that Doc Savage? Was he literally doing like homework for him?
He's trying to. I don't know.
Homework. Terrible.
I don't know if he can read, but
the whole point of Doc Savage is
I do like this girl here. She's pretty intense. Yeah. The guy, what is the deal? Did they stuff his face with something? Or?
Charles Biro, I mean, for a guy who did, I don't know, 150 covers probably minimum. There are some that he's done that are really beyond the risque. Girl's about to stab somebody in the face.
Yeah.
And he's got a gun that's already been shot. You see, he's already shot the other guy. So
he might have taken the most risks. Well, or his editor, whatever. But
I think his editor didn't even care what he did.
Yeah.
But he was pumping out those things weekly.
You just tell, though, he probably had a lot of fun.
There are so many crime that doesn't pay. They don't even go by month. Some of them are like 3 in a month.
Wow.
Some of the later ones right now.
Here's first appearance. You guys might want to spec on the crazy quilt.
No crazy quilt, not for me, man.
Yeah. The superior weapon.
I got 10 copies. We'll see. Yeah.
Be careful of the quilt.
Here's another one that looks like that girl. The rendering of her looks like it could almost be maybe not modern, but 80s or 70s something. Like it just doesn't feel old to me.
There are some old Sinbad books. If you ever look at those, they look brand new.
I'll have to look at that.
Yeah. You look at those old Sinbad books from the 40s and early 50s, late 40s, mid to late 40s. They look like they belong in like a 90s run.
You're not saying a photo cover of that 80s actor, right?
No. Not that Sinbad.
No, that would be
Seven Seas.
Something like that, yeah.
Funny,
like rip off on the Human Torch.
This is early EC.
Yeah, and I can't remember the what is the name of this guy? Oh, maybe I guess that's him, Freddie Firefly.
Oh, Freddie Firefly, there he is.
Got the little wings. I mean, he's basically the Human Torch, and they put some wings on him.
That's a Martian Manhunter prototype right there.
Yeah.
Here's another very expensive, probably Joker cover. Sing a Song of Villainy. This is 1947. Oh, this one I like. And
this is the last one.
Classic origin story. Actually, they didn't tell the origin like from Tech 33 until this point, or what?
Well, in Tech 33, you find out that his parents were killed, and that's it. But that's for what I'm just going to say is right now, the only comic book hero ever to never have his true origin change is Batman. Superman's changed twice. Remember that. Superman changed twice. The Jonathan Kent thing is a later version, not the very early Superman, not the first run of Superman.
Well, what about Cap?
Captain America's changed how many times? He's changed it in Cap 100, changed his thing to a Super Soul Soldier serum, to how he did it, everything else as it goes to the early stuff, it changes. Yeah, Batman, it always begins with his mom and dad being killed in an alley, being murdered, and him taking vengeance on the criminals for that. Now, the only thing that's changes, whether it was a diamond necklace or a pearl necklace, but everything else has been always the same.
Yeah, but sometimes it's the Joker. Isn't it the Joker who did it or some?
No, that was a what's his name? Frank Miller, I think, is the one who thought of that thing, and that wasn't really. That makes no sense at the time.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Yeah.
But it's kind of a cool villainous Buzz Sawyer. I don't know who Buzz. I guess Buzz is the guy fighting, but punching that guy in the stomach.
You're fighting King Hippo style on Mike Tyson's punch out right there. Shout out to 8-Bit Friends.
There you go.
That'd be cool. Yeah.
This cover is still on Heritage right now.
Yeah,
it is. I was going to say the actual. It's on Heritage Auctions right now. The cover.
Yeah. So it's still bidding now, in the stages of bidding.
I think it's this weekend. It ends this week, right?
It's a featured auction. I think it ends Sunday.
Okay.
Wonder how much it is so far. Probably pretty high.
I don't think it's going to go as much as you believe.
Yeah. Again, when I go to original art, it's not popular. It's not. Doesn't say Tarzan or Superman or Batman or anything else on that. They're hard to find. They're hard to sell in the golden age.
It's really impressive looking when you see it.
Oh yeah. It's not like it's faded away or anything. It is detailed to a T.
And there's not too many LB Cole stuff for sale, I don't think. Right?
I don't know the census on how many LB Cole pieces are out there, but I can't imagine anymore.
I know the hardest one is the Jack Kamen. To buy any Jack Kamen original art is the hardest because his son bought everything. His son invented the Segway scooter.
Yeah, didn't he try to put together like a museum for the dad's work?
He bought every piece of artwork he could. He bought Snyder out, bought everybody out. And there were times I've always asked for, is there any Jack Kamen work around? They're like, if I had it, I'd sell it to him because he'd give me $5,000 more than I should. He would buy it right away. He didn't care. He just wanted everything his dad ever did. And it's one of those, like, if you do find a Jack Kamen original work, I mean, you got to doubt its authenticity if his son doesn't want it.
So there's going to be a huge influx of his artwork when
his son dies. Yeah, but his son's not that old. Actually, his son he used to go to cons all the time.
Hey, so far this cover is only at $3,240.
It's a good deal.
I would definitely buy that.
I think when with the all the fees at the end of Heritage, it'll be at 22,000.
At least, and then you got to pay tax, 10% Washington sales tax,
and there's a $12,000 shipping fee.
Yeah, and then there's on top of it, you're gonna have the buyer's premium.
Yeah, so that's what we're saying. So buyer's premium, it's at 3,000 now. It'll probably be about 26,000 after the buyer's premium.
Yeah,
it's
or
just,
I bet is there a reserve on it?
It's set up so that you can just you'll have to sell it back to them because you can't afford to send it to yourself.
I believe the reserve is $25 more than JD bids.
Yeah, exactly. That's what happened the last 2 times.
There's no reserve. I mean, this has to at least get to $10,000. I'd have to say. I mean, sure.
I mean, Ali Elias last year, 2 years ago, Ali Elias EC cover. I don't remember which exact one. It was a chamber. It wasn't one of the big 3, but it was a chamber. Sold for under $1,000.
Wow.
And it wasn't even like it was $900. It was like $600. And I'm sitting there watching and saying, maybe it's a rendition, maybe it's a stat, maybe it's something. Sure as shit. Nope. The guy who bought it, I asked, eventually, people start finding out who bought it. And they're like, what was so wrong about it? He goes, the description was completely off. And that happens sometimes. I mean, you just don't. This was on Heritage, by the way. It was Comic Link. Oh, no, it was Comic Connect. That's who had it. Because I remember calling up Vince saying, are you kidding me? How did this thing sell?
This artwork sold in 2008 for $9,000. So
okay, someone's trying to make a quick 3,000 because artwork doesn't move like comic books.
I would say 20,000. Should be. I mean, come on, like Bronze Age nothing covers go for that sometimes.
Yeah, but Bronze Age nothing covers are.
I don't know a Bronze Age nothing cover that goes for 20,000. It's got arrows on it, big time.
Yeah.
Well,
Bronze Age, Gene Colan, Tomb of Draculas are very sought after right now. Actually, probably the most sought after.
There's a whole cabal that apparently, I don't know if you want to get into it. They won't. They just don't want any covers to go under a certain amount of money. They'll just buy them. I don't know if that's true, but
I've heard that there was a what if in the hundreds that the bid on eBay was like $250, and then immediately it went up to like $5,000 or $6,000, and everybody was like, "What's going on?" Jack Kamen also created the logo for the first Lego League, which is a main student robotic league. Oh, I did not know that. Look at that.
Here we go. Classic 49.
Yeah.
49 cover.
Yeah.
Is this a Cole too? Yeah, that's a Cole. Okay.
That's LB Cole, Fish to the Face. Yeah.
That you think that would go for more?
Yeah.
I would hope so.
Mm-hmm. I
wouldn't buy that.
Again, a lot of these, I see the Target. Does it have the logo Target in the background on the on the original artwork? Does it have it or is it overlay? Because that's one of the things I never know with some of these Golden Ages. A lot of them use the same overlay when it came down to their titles. They just put them over the cover.
Wow.
They printed them. Planet was a big one for that fight comic.
Do you like that, or do you not like that?
I have 4 pages. I have 4 overlays. I kid you not, 4 overlays that I've gotten on pieces of art that did not belong to that piece of art. Where I've had to go back and find the original piece of artwork. Well, I could probably, if you can see. Sorry, I'm making it busy.
So is that a yes or no?
Do I like it? No, because it's a pain in the ass to frame.
Okay.
But let me just show here. On that board over there, that's just some original artwork with the pieces below it. The 2 that are lower than the one in the middle both came with overlays, 2 overlays each. Neither one, the top overlay belonged to either one of those books. I'm trying to find out what books they belong to. But good luck. Sorry.
I mean, sometimes, without the lettering, it could be a nice piece of art, but
yeah, there is some that all of your Frazetta pieces, your science fiction pieces, will have none of that.
That's right. Yeah.
Anything from EC usually has that is an add-in overlay. The side up, this thing that on the side, they don't draw that, and that's usually an overlay.
Pretty classic.
Torchy.
Is this sell for good, Jeff?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Torchy people. There's a huge Torchy following, and that's a solid wanted cover right there. I mean, I think it's pretty obvious that that's one of the better, more attractive covers that people would want.
Is that the top cover?
Check out the handle to the sword. Like, does that seem like it insinuates anything to you? Like where it's at? By the way, I just saw that now.
I would say the Periscope Torchy is probably the most popular.
When she's on the boat, is that it?
Yep. Yeah, with a bunch of submarine periscopes are staring at her. That's probably a very common because she's laying back and her headlights are just there, and she's wearing less clothes.
Venus.
Well, yeah,
I think
they used to be cheaper, and
Venus used to be. You could use. I used to be able to afford Venuses all the time, and I don't know what happened the last, I'll say 7 years. It's just been out of control.
And look at that, the son of Satan, early son of Satan.
I think this might be the first sci-fi cover in this run, and it also might be the first appearance of Thor or Loki.
Oh,
I have to remember if it was this one was Thor, Loki, or a different issue in this run.
I've got a Thor pulp from the 30s, but it wouldn't be considered a comic. And I've got a Batman with Thor on it, Batman 127.
Yeah, this one is what number is this? This is 10. Sci-fi issues begin.
Yep.
The Loki is number 6.
6, that's the one.
Oh, it's 6. What about I think the Loki and Thor are both in there, so it would be both.
I might have to search that one down again.
Yeah, I have to remember that.
All right, put it on my list.
All right.
I had the Thor in DC, which is the Batman 127. So
I like this one.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. Catwoman.
Mm-hmm.
That's LB.
LB cool.
Yeah.
I don't see that one as much as the others.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's unpopular or it's scarce.
It's not unpopular because it says it's popular.
Well, popular teenagers.
I like the other one better with the 2 girls walking on the beach for sure.
Yeah, that's a good one.
But this is pretty funny.
Yeah.
It reminds me of some video I saw recently of someone who chases his wife around with a live lobster, and he's been doing it for over 10 years or something. And there's a montage of that. It's kind of silly, but I guess maybe he got it from this. We got The Heap. I didn't know he started in Boy. Well, I don't know if he started in this, but
I have a few Airboys.
Which one is The Heap? The green one or the other guy?
The one on the right. The one on the right.
The hay guy made out of hay?
That's the heap. A heap of swamp grass. It's just heap. I've got a few Airboys with him. All Heap stories. There's one of Neanderthal, like the Yeti versus the Heap is pretty.
And is this guy the Man of Moonlight?
No, that's the Toxic Avenger.
Yeah,
it's a prototype. Look at it. It looks like Toxic Avenger versus the Heap.
Totally. Yeah.
And there's no Airboy on the cover. That's not even him in the background.
No, it's not.
Yeah, I like Airboy. I think they're underrated books.
They are. It was very popular at the time. It was a long run.
One with the heads.
Yep, very well known.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess it has something to do with the Ghost Rider.
Well,
Barbie. You got any? How many times do you have people come to your booth asking for Barbie?
Yeah, Bobby Benson's.
It's Bobby Benson's Riders.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know if it's called B.
Babar.
BB. No, I'm not BB Barb. It's Barb. No.
It's Babar. It's the elephant one. Babar. What are you talking about?
And we got. I just read one of those.
That's the Dick Cheney cover.
Totally.
That's exactly how I saw somebody put it.
He was closer. He was
It
closer.
was about. I was at Westchester Comic Con, and which was actually a pretty good con in New York. It was actually known as the Big Apple Con before it moved. The guy had on their first appearance of Dick Cheney in a comic. It was great.
We got to
So
do
funny.
sometime a EC like tier because I don't. There's a lot of them I like, but I'm curious, like because there's a lot of them where it's like
Tales from the
no one cares, and everyone tries to sell it for a lot still,
If a woman's getting choked or stabbed or killed or a tongue getting ripped out or anything else, they usually like.
I mean, there's the sci-fi ones, but then there's within those the Woods and the Frazettas go for a lot more than the other ones, and blah blah blah. And I don't know. I'd be interested.
I happen to think Wally Wood's best work is in Eerie, but that's just me. Eerie 3 is his best. My favorite one he did. Ghost is Maurice Whitman.
Yeah, it's another one of those almost modernish looking.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's something with the translucence. I don't know. This is man, he looks so happy killing him. It's really
This is the Korean War time, right?
Yeah. U.S. Marines in action.
Yeah. The thing with the Korean War covers is they're much more violent than any war.
Well, they're really into the stabbing. Maybe they somehow thought that was like less offensive than shooting people. I don't know.
Or more.
They got that wrong, and they also light it on fire.
That's true. If you got to burn somebody, you got to burn somebody.
Flamethrower covers, man, just such a niche collecting
Now,
group, but you gotta love it.
Is that Heath? Manili? Let's go. I'm going to look that one up. I'm going to try to be Paul. What is it? War number what?
11.
11.
All right.
It's got to be. I mean, that would be expensive.
It is.
So many creases on it, it would look like a white coat.
Yeah.
It is expensive. We got Russ Heath in the chat, someone says.
Well, we're good. We'll double check.
Who is this? Wood or Williamson or who is this?
Like, do we move on? I can only see one.
We can go back too if we need to.
Yeah.
I would love to see that one. Is it War or War Comics?
War, but I don't know how they. I don't know how they list it under wherever you're looking.
I think it's just War.
That's what I always thought it was. Just War. Yeah, it's not coming up right now.
It is a. Where is it? Oh my God, these pictures are so low res.
I know. That's what. This War Front. Realize War Action.
I'm gonna trust the board.
Yeah, we're gonna go with that one. War Adventures. Yeah, we'll go with Russ Heath. It was either gonna be Russ Heath or, that has been most of our guesses.
Someone was trying to sell one last year on the boards for a CGC 5.0 for $17.99.
That's exactly what I put in War Comics 11. How much did they want to sell for?
Like $1,800.
It's a really in-demand book.
And so is this Wood or Williamson or?
Russ Heath did do the cover.
Okay, cool.
Documented.
That's it. It's official.
Yep.
All right.
It's probably signed somewhere on there.
Now, how about this one?
Isn't that your boy?
Who is this?
Is that it?
I don't think it is no, it's not a Frazetta.
Jack
I mean,
Davis.
it might have helped on this, I think, but
It signs 14.
I think he only did that one EC that
It's Wally Wood. That's the cover.
Walter Wood.
Gotcha. Too much dress on the girl.
Too much.
Well, for Wally Wood, yes, because you have to go. But remember, until you get a copy of Gangbang 3, you can't complete your Wally Wood collection. I've shown the books.
This is another. I mean, I don't know who this artist is, but I don't know. It's growing on me. It's weird. It's another one of those ghost ones.
Ghost.
I mean, do you ever see this? I've never even seen this.
Yeah, it's become more popular of late. It used to just not be that interesting because the earlier ghosts were better. This one's getting some more attention now.
It's going to be more Maurice Whitman more than likely. It's Ghost. He did 90% of. I think almost all the ghosts he did. I gotta think he did. Yeah, let me just double check on that one. Cover art by Maurice Whitman. Bride of Horror, pencils by Bill Benellis and Jack Abel. Yeah,
here we go. Zombie.
What year is that?
This is 1953.
Okay. There is one comic. Is it Menace 5? It might be this one where the first time they use the term zombie.
Yeah, it's 5.
Yeah.
I mean, they put it big enough.
Yep.
And at least that looks like they have a zombie on the cover too. So I mean, it's got a lot going for it.
Night of the Living Dead didn't even come out for 20 years. Something after this.
Yeah. Now, Atlas did The Walking Dead. Out of Night. This is a classic. One of my favorites. Right
I like this.
The gargoyle versus the vampire is how I always thought this was, and I still think it's a gargoyle versus a vampire.
That's an interesting concept right there, like that.
Is that Ken Bald? I assume.
I don't know. I saw another one which I almost put in, which I wish I did, but yeah, I don't know. It's interesting.
Out of Night. What number is that?
This is number 9.
Yeah, I don't think there were more than that many Out of Night. Okay, Out of Night 1952. There was 17. And number 9 is Ken Bald. Yep.
So is this one expensive? Because it looks to me like something that
that's a Don Heck. It has to be, right? Does it look like Don Heck again copying his own stuff? No, it could be Ken Bald again. Astonishing 34.
Yeah.
It's an okay version. I mean, there's other guillotine covers to cap like that. That one isn't exactly going to fly off the shelf. I mean, obviously, it's got a little more value because of what it is, but
how many copies could you get of this for one of those Tickle My Feet covers?
Oh, please!
That Tickle My Feet cover will sell a lot more than this.
Okay,
but yeah, it's just darker, gloomier, better villain earlier, or better hero. Yeah. This
Joe Manili did the cover.
I was about to say that. We're not going to win Jeff over.
No, that was too, yeah.
But Jeff, he drew this in 20 minutes. I don't care how long he took. I don't know Catwoman covers, but I assume this is a fairly popular one, maybe? I don't know.
It is a very popular one. All of them are around this time frame, and with Batman's looking a little
chubby there.
Yeah, he's looking a little hefty.
I've noticed that.
Someone's been taking the slide instead of the pole instead of the stairs, huh?
And Robin's looking fit,
Right. It's interesting.
And I do like this Manili. I like this Manili, I have to say.
That's a typical, that's a good one.
I like that one.
That'd be a nice high-grade copy to have.
The Ringo Kid. There's a
one.
I've seen a few of these go. Not this exact issue, but a bunch of Ringo Kids. Good prices. So
the 50s, I don't know what it is. Like something about these 50s books just scream like I only want them if they look really, really nice. I don't know why. Like I don't get that with the Golden Age. I'm just like, yeah, as long as it's presentable. But like these, it's just like, oh, I bet that would look great in a really nice condition.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not.
Thanks, Jim. Thanks for joining us. There we go. That's a gray tone cover too.
That's a pretty cool one for Comic Code.
I don't mind the Comic Code. I don't think that's the end of the golden age. It's the year after.
I like to watch how they.
That guy's got a Soviet canteen on. You see that? The canteen.
Yeah.
Canteen.
That's the trophy from all the people he's killed. Probably.
And then the final one. This is I thought this was interesting because I didn't really know this guy even did anything except inking, because he's well known for messing up Jack Kirby's pencils. Who is it?
Tony DeZinga.
Well, him too, but there's another one.
I can name a few. Which one? Not Mac, right?
Vince Coletta.
No, Vince Caleta. Well, a lot of people say that about Vince Caleta, but he wasn't terrible. I mean,
but he's got some skills. He drew this thing. That's pretty good.
Vince did a lot of good Tomb of Draculas too.
It does not seem like it would fit with Kirby's style at all. So you could kind of see why maybe
Kirby was a prima donna.
Pairing,
Kirby was a prima donna.
Well, come on. I mean, I would much rather almost any other inker for his work.
For any artist to demand what he did. I know everybody's like, oh, that's it. But, I know Stan wasn't the favorite of Ditko and Jack, but I'll be honest with you. They're the artist, and they work for him. He could tell them what they want. I mean, they work for the editor. So,
well, but okay, here's the story that always makes my heart hurt a little bit for Kirby. He wouldn't go into Toys R Us because he would get sad seeing all the Marvel toys and all these characters he created on sale, and he never got a dime.
Well, neither did Stan until the 90s. It was owned by CBS or something when all those toys were. I mean,
that's got to blow.
There's enough where you can say why me instead of that. You could be a try me. Jack Kirby was one of those guys that, and no offense, but take offense if you're his grandson. I said it to him before. He's always been like, why me? Why me? Why me? Well, Jack, grow up. I mean, you did New Gods. You totally took your characters and took them to New Gods. You tried, and then you eventually came back. I don't know. I've got issues.
What do you mean, why me what?
In other words, he's always like, oh, look at all the stuff that everybody made on my characters, characters. You could have done something on your own. You could have started your own publishing company. You could have started your own artist company. L.B. Cole did it when he didn't want to work with his people. He started his own Star Publications. Jack certainly had the finances to do something like that in the 60s.
But, I think a lot of this whole argument was only heard once the internet started up. I never really heard too much of him grumbling. He wasn't like out in public grumbling about that stuff. I mean,
I heard more about the Ditko stuff growing up than I did the Kirby stuff. But you knew New Gods was stolen. New Gods was supposed to be in Marvel. New Gods was supposed to be the Silver Surfer 1 through 18.
Well, he phoned it all in the late 60s.
Yeah, you could.
For Marvel.
Yeah, he did. And then then all of a sudden, John Buscema comes in and says, okay, I'll take this character and multiply it by 1,000,
And then it got canceled.
After 18 issues, yeah. But everything got canceled. The writing in these books were terrible. I'm just going to say it right now. The writing, I mean, I've read them all. They're dribble. It did.
I think the writing in a Kirby unedited, unstanified was terrible. The ideas and outlines and all that were great, and the creations were great. But Stan, he needed a writer. It's not a one-man thing.
It's not, man. I always hear people just Kirby did not create alone all these characters. Yeah. I'm sorry. It's a team effort. Yep. I apologize. I mean, to say Stan did nothing and Kirby did everything, give me a freaking break, man.
And I always say the same thing about Thor. They didn't create Thor. Thor has been around. He's public domain. He's been public domain since the Vikings, So we're like, oh, Kirby created Thor. No, Kirby drew a Thor for Marvel. He drew a Thor for Marvel, not Thor.
All right, well, that's it for this spinner rack. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah. Well, Thanks everybody for joining us for the spinner right there. Now, what do you got going on, dude? What do you got going on? Anything?
I got my
class channel or
video's gonna come up as soon as I. I've
yeah,
heard we need to stagger them, right? You need to stagger your videos. Don't ever release a lot of videos at once. You have to have every day or whatever the hell, I don't know. But I'm going to have to do that because it takes so long for me to upload them.
Yeah. I need to get some stuff out too, man. I got to work on stuff. But right now I'm just trying to process books. I'm actually thinking about doing a claim sale here. I'm seeing a lot of people doing that. And I'm like, you know what? I have so much stuff here just sitting. And I should just give myself a goal.
Might as well.
Process books and just do a claim sale. So I was talking to my wife about it today. Going to start talking to some other people as well. Start plugging it. I'm thinking the next week and a half, 2 weeks. I got some books coming back from CGC too. I might as well wait for those. Maybe the next couple of weeks have just something that goes on for like a few hours. Maybe
how is the
3-4 short boxes? Oh man, I just submitted some stuff last week. Yeah, last week.
I heard it's fast.
I did a modern, I did a standard, I did a express. So I did like 4 different tiers for because I sent so much in, and my express is done.
Nice.
My express fastest tier, whatever. Walk through whatever. It's done. So I just got the grades today. By the way, Hero for Hire number 196 white.
Nice. Good. Congratulations on that one. That's a tough book to get. I was hoping 9.8, man. I was hoping. I was like, ugh. And then I got a Marvel Team Up one, also 9.6 white, with that same. Wow. So 2 cool Bronze Age books. Is there a 9.8 Hero for Hire one?
There is. There's a couple.
Because I ran a statistic on the Bronze Age. I definitely want to do with you, Jeff, and we'll go over this Bronze Age statistics we did. A bunch of guys on the boards and we sat back and we did the top 10 books each year that came out, or each year that they came out. The top 10 Bronze Age books from 70 to 75, and it was less than 0.2% are 9.8. In 70, in 71, it's 1.3. In 72, it's 2.2. In 74, it's 4.5. In 75, it's 12.9. In 76, it's 33.4%.
You said top 1970 to 79?
It's 70 to 75, halfway through 75, not even halfway. I think it's April of 75. The paper quality was so shitty, especially Marvel books. DC books DC books are very hard to get white pages on in the 70s, in the early 70s. Very hard to get white pages on. That's probably the most common thing you see there is you get cream to off white, which has hurt their grades. However, there are some books for some reason that have so many 9.8s in DC that it throws things out of whack. And it might have just been how many that they were publishing. There were more DCs being published in 70, 71, 72 than there were Marvel books. So more of this, again, not Marvel produced more books. DC produced more of an individual title more than anything Marvel was putting out, other than Spider-Man. I mean, I think the Batman and Superman and Flash was extremely popular in the 70s. And during that time, Marvel was introducing all their new characters. So you had the Howard the Duck run, you had the DC had Swamp Thing, but you had a lot more new first appearances in Marvel. You had Blade, you had Dracula, you had Werewolf by Night, Moon Knight. You had all these other characters that Marvel was introducing in the 70s that DC kind of had a few, but they were, they weren't really there. I mean, they weren't. DC focused on their big 4,
Yeah. What was that era I was talking about?
Oh yeah, there you go. Wow.
There you go. That's a good book.
That's dope.
Right there. That's a great way to end the show.
Congrats on that, man.
I'll be working with some after doing the con this weekend. A lot of artists came out and wanted to do some time on YouTube, so I'm probably going to work on something with them. But other than that, it's great having everybody here. Thank you all for being a friend. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Knights. Sorry, DS, you couldn't be here. I'm sure you're going to watch the rewind. And Paul, where's Paul?
He's got a thunderstorm or something. Or
only
snow.
3 hours away, and it would have hit me first. So, but he's making a lot of bread, and I mean the bread, not the money bread. But he's doing great. So, best of luck to everybody. Stay safe. Stay gold. Do what you got to do to, whatever flatten curves looks like it's flattening, and everybody's being good. Just do what you got to do. Do what you
Why
want.
we go to the gym, right?
Yeah, just do what you want.
Curves.
Have a good one, everybody.
Later.
Bye bye.
See you guys.
And